Liberal Fox News commentator Jessica Tarlov appropriately gloated to her four right-wing co-hosts about the recent good news for Democrats and the terrible news for House Republicans, as elsewhere on Fox, hosts and guests alike lamented about the state of the GOP. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bell before you go. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, friends, we have several clips to look at in this video. I saw this one earlier today. Tarlov was taking a victory lap, which is good. We love her. We love victory laps, and especially in this particular political climate, they have been relatively few and far between, right? Donald Trump remains a threat. The MAGA movement remains a threat. And yet, here lately, there's been a string of positive news for President Biden and the Democrats and a string of bad news for Republicans, particularly dysfunctional, stupid, incompetent House Republicans. We're going to let her recap the situation, and we'll unpack it all together.
So Joe Biden got 11 points more with men than Hillary Clinton did in 2016. They were near even, him and Trump. We know that Democrats have overperformed expectations by miles in the Biden era. The midterms, sore spot for you. Every referendum, all the special elections, and now the majority, with Mike Gallagher announcing that he's going to be leaving early too, is going to be down to 1 for the Republicans, which basically means they'll never get anything done. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is on the warpath again. I welcome it. In the Economist polling unit, or whatever chart, now Biden is ahead for the first time in 7 months, which is a sea change. We know about the money on hand. We know about actually Joe Biden's travel, which everyone likes to deny, but in the last week...
You're doing a really good job, Jessica.
Thank you.
Well, we do have to move it along. Judge Janine...
So now you see that Jesse Waters is wanting to move the conversation on because he nor his other co-hosts have any refutation of Tarlov's recitation of the facts. I mean, it's just not good right now for Republicans, and it's pretty good, or at least getting better, for President Biden and the Democrats. Want to play a couple more clips, probably two involving Stuart Varney, in which one of his guests is complaining about the state of the Republican Party. And in the other one, he just kind of lets a Republican congressman have it about how much they suck.
No, it's the ugliest thing I've ever seen, Stuart. I mean, people are so angry right now. And all I heard all over the weekend was, from a lot of my conservative friends, what the hell are the Republicans doing?
Not governing. That's what they're doing. They're not governing. Now, he, of course, is, talking about this $1.2 trillion stimulus package, or not stimulus package, I'm sorry, government funding package, which keeps the government funded for the next 6 months. So it removes the threat that Republicans have been using in an attempt to extort concessions from Democrats and President Biden, the threat of a painful and unnecessary government shutdown. Finally, Mike Johnson had to fold, as he has folded in continuing resolutions, stopgap measures. Kevin McCarthy had to do it as well. So this is what they're talking about. And then, of course, in response to this is Marjorie Taylor Greene threatened to begin the process to remove Mike Johnson from the speakership. She said she put the GOP on notice that they need to find a better candidate. Now, in this clip, you have Stuart Varney, the host who didn't speak in the previous clip, but it was there on screen. He's kind of reading in a gently, affable way this Republican congressman, the riot act over the GOP's latest failures.
Now I'm going to move to an area which might be a little tricky for a House Republican like yourself. Mike Gallagher leaving next month. Congressman Ken Buck, he says it's dysfunction. He's gone. The majority is down to just 1. Seems like Republicans are in complete disarray. You can't do anything.
Yeah, all of that is completely true. And it's so fun. I imagine it has to be a real delight to get the opportunity to tell a sitting Republican congressperson that to their face about how much they suck, because they do. Mike Gallagher was a name that was dropped there. Mike Gallagher is the latest Republican congressman who has served 4 terms, I believe, back to back to back. He's also a veteran, right? He's a guy who's a conservative Republican. No one can question his bona fides, at least seriously. And not only did he announce recently that he wasn't seeking re-election, he also announced that, like Kevin McCarthy and Ken Buck, he's not even going to complete his term because he's so fed up with this Congress, and you can read between the lines there, with his own damn party. And now that's for the time for the final clip between a Republican Congresswoman, Claudia Tenney, and Larry Kudlow, who is a Fox News host and former Trump economic advisor. both of them are really upset about Gallagher's decision to leave and the timing of it.
Absolutely,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Look at why is Mike Gallagher from Wisconsin? He's leaving late. Can't you look? That seat remains open. But if he leaves, I think by April 2nd or April 5th or some date, then they can have an election. It's a Republican district. What does Gallagher think he's doing?
I don't know. I'm urging him. He came in with Mike and I as freshmen too, and he's got to stay. If he stays early, we can get the special election. It's a very safe Republican seat.
Right.
We'll add to our majority. We don't have the other special to fill Kevin McCarthy's seat until April 30th. And we're perilous. We could end up being having a speaker, Hakeem Jeffries, in the interim here while we're waiting for special elections. Personally, if you're going to make a commitment to the people that elect you, that you're going to serve for 2 years, unless you have a really good reason not to serve, then why would you do that? And aren't we Team Republican? I hate to be political here because it's a money show, but we're talking about money. We're talking about saving our economy.
The problem is you all aren't Team Republican. You all are Team Trump. That's the point. I mean, Gallagher, he is Team Republican. This is a guy, again, who has been a consistent conservative Republican in his policy positions, but also his endorsement of institutions, right? That's something that Republicans at least used to pay lip service towards, the idea of respect for institutions. But under Trump, institutions only serve one purpose, which is to aggrandize Donald Trump himself. And if they don't do that, then they need to be alienated. So Claudia Tenney, like other MAGA Republicans, have been the reason that Mike Gallagher is leaving, that Mike Gallagher isn't running for re-election, that Mike Gallagher is leaving early. And again, as they point out, the timing of it is so delightful. He's doing it, and hopefully he stays the course. I suppose it's time. There is time for him to change his mind. But right now, Mike Gallagher is on track to seriously, optimally screw the House Republican Conference. And like Jessica Tarlov said at the beginning of this video, I welcome it. I'm here for it. They deserve it. The House Republican Party deserves it. The Republican Party in general deserves it. They can't govern. They've demonstrated it time and time and time again. All they've cared about is trying to impeach President Biden, impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, and just these BS, meaningless culture war stunts, complaining about gas stoves and all that crap, when in fact they have an opportunity to co-govern, to work bipartisanly with President Biden and the Democrats. I mean, and certainly to extract concessions. They have the leverage to do it. But instead, because they can't govern, they don't know how to govern, they basically demand the moon. They want everything. They want to impose their will as a razor-thin majority in one chamber of one branch. They want to impose their minority will on the rest of us and on the Democratic Party and on President Biden. And it hasn't happened yet. And so every single time they have to face reality, they constantly throw tantrums. And stuff like that has helped drive Ken Buck, Kevin McCarthy, and now Mike Gallagher away. And it's so glorious to behold. I love it. And hopefully it continues for the months to come ahead of the election. So let me know what you think in the comments.